Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Okay, time out. You're gonna let your budget be the boss of you? Take control with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay for car insurance, and we'll help you find options that fit your budget. Here's some music to get you pumped. Da-dong, 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 dang, dang. I hear your budget laughing at you. Oh, wait, that's just those kids laughing at me. Ignore them! Da-dong, da-dong,
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Blog Talk Radio.
Honeysuckle air is sweet, and the grass is cool. On a barefoot midnight summer walk neath the lover's moon, your silhouette in that white cotton dress, I'll always remember this. The song buzzing by the creek, perfect harmony. Yeah, the frogs and the crickets are laying it down just for you and me. You put your hand in mine, I wish I could stop time. I'll always remember this. I bet our kids would roll their eyes each time I start to tell the story of tonight, when my whole life began. With you standing here, it's so clear that all my dreams come true if I'm your man. You look up at me, and I realize I could see the Milky Way reflecting in your eyes. Then the stars fall down with our first kiss. I'll always remember this. Oh yeah. I bet our kids would roll their eyes each time I start to tell the story of tonight, when my whole life began. 'Cause with you standing here, it's so clear that all my dreams come true if I'm your man. And when my days grow short, when I'm gray and old, I just pray to God my memories will last to go. 'Cause I know I'd smile with my last breath if I still remember this. Your silhouette in that white cotton dress, I'll always remember this. Yes, I will.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday night at 8 o'clock, and if it's Thursday night at 8 o'clock, that means it must be time for Off the Chain. I am your host, Yvonne Mason, and we will discuss that song and the wonderful artist that wrote it in a few minutes. But first of all, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the show tonight and say thank you. It is because of you all that this show is such a success. It is because of you all that we continue to grow going into our third year. I cannot believe that we're looking on the front side of our third year. It's just absolutely amazing. There's two ways to get on this show. One, you come on as a guest, or two, you can become a sponsor for the show. And I don't do sponsorships to get rich. That's not my intent. My intent is to give you, the artist, whether you're a musician, a singer, a writer, a painter, you have a platform, you have a foundation, whatever it is, to get you the exposure that you need. We're heard in over 200 countries, ladies and gentlemen. And between all of the podcasts that we're on SoundCloud and Stitcher, YouTube, iTunes, we're on Spreaker, we're on Reverb Nation, we're on 2 podcasts on iHeartRadio, we're on FM.com, TuneIn Radio, you name it, we're on it. And when we do that, that means that we have over 200,000 listeners in over 200 countries. And it is because of each and every one of you. And I appreciate that. And with that being said, before I introduce our co-host, my real good friend, and our guest tonight, I need to do a little bit of bill paying here. Hello from Traveler. Merry Christmas. We just published To Protect One's Own, Book 7 of the Oberlin Chronicles. It takes the family into the immediate future with all the action, political intrigue, and hard science fiction her fans have come to expect from Traveler's Tales. Noah, Violet, Kai, Xenia, Gabriel, Katerina, and their families attempt to get ready to appear before the Joint Congressional Committee to testify and to sort out the damages caused by the Brotherhood. Violet's old nemesis, Obsidian, shows up and suddenly, just driving to Washington requires a military escort, while back at home at the retreat center, Bravo Company has gone completely crazy and tries to kidnap the Oberlin children. How do you protect your family when the world has lost its collective mind, heart, and soul? It's a page-turner for sure and just the thing for long winter nights. Oh, and by the way, in celebration of their newest title, To Protect One's Own, they are running a price countdown on 3 of their most popular books on Amazon. December 8th, you'll be able to download Terrorists, Traitors, and Spies for 99 cents, and 3 days later it goes up to $1.99, and at the end of the week it is back to its usual price. December 15th, you can download Oberlin's Oberlin, the book that began the generation's history, for 99 cents. 3 days later it goes up to $1.99 and then up to $2.99. December 23rd, just in time to gift yourself for Christmas, you can download their latest book, To Protect One's Own, for 99 cents, going up to $1.99 3 days later, and then the regular price of $2.99 at the end of the week. It's time to reward yourself for being good, for listening to your loved ones, and getting all those gifts wrapped. Go to Amazon, see all their books. They make grand Christmas gifts for anyone who loves to read, and that includes you. Time to gift you, and remember to do a random act of kindness every day. And remember, if you buy a paperback copy for a friend, you can download a copy for yourself at 99 cents, and both have a great time. God bless, and may your travels begin. Diane Moat, Sam Holden is our favorite vigilante. The 3rd book in the series, Dog Bones, is about Sam's quest to avenge abused animals is threatened when the FBI comes after her on one side and the commissioner wants her dead on the other. Will her double life be exposed? Will Sam be able to protect the animals, her friends, and herself? Check out Dog Bones by Diane Moat. Howard Levine has a book out called Last Gasp. Frank Tedeschi's niece is dead, one of thousands of victims of a terrorist attack which has been laid at the feet of Islamic radicals by a right-wing U.S. government. Frank, based on a chance encounter, is one of the very few people who questions the government's explanation. He's a Vietnam veteran who wants nothing more than to live without further controversy or conflict. Can he and his grieving brother Rob, a detective with the NYPD, obtain the necessary evidence to uncover the truth in the face of scorn and incredibility? Can they overcome their long-term estrangement to work together, given they are putting their lives in danger? In Last Gasp, a novel that resonates with today's politics, the answers to these questions unfold in a way that mingle personal and societal issues and intertwines the past and present while moving relentlessly forward. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started because this hour is filled with fun music, and who knows, because y'all all know this is off the chain. My co-host tonight is my great friend who I absolutely adore, Christopher Plain, also known as the Music God. And together, we are going to be talking with a new friend of mine, country music artist Scott Southworth. He wrote this, quote, I write songs I like pie. I play Larrivee Guitars. I really like pie, end quote. That's his version of a bio, Lazy Jacknut. Originally hailing from the Great Pacific Northwest, Scott is an award-winning Nashville-based performing singer-songwriter, a top 40 charting recording artist in Europe, and the creator, co-host of Radio TV's The Music Row Show. Heard in 38 states via the historic 650 AM WSM, and from 2012-2016 was seen nationwide on the BlueHighways TV network. He is proud to be an endorsed Larrivee Guitar artist and is excited to be a 2018 Durango Boots Ambassador. I do love Durango Boots. He performs regularly in Nashville at the Bluebird Cafe, Douglas Corner, and the Commodore Grille, as well as house concerts and many songwriting festivals around the country and overseas. He has been a featured performer on RFD TV's nationally televised Market Day Report, the nationally syndicated Chico B-Man television show, and has been a featured artist on WSM Radio's Cafe, Country, and Cody. Nashville Today with Devon O, the Allnighter with Marcia Campbell, Ernest Tubb's Midnight Jamboree, Knoxville's The Writer's Block, several performances on WDVX's Blue Plate Special, say that 3 times, and Tennessee Shines, as well as many other local TV and radio programs across the USA. And I guess in his spare time, he is a comedian. Welcome, Scott. We're so glad to have you here tonight. And hello, Christopher.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me, and it's great to meet you, and it's great to talk to Chris again. You know, he and I have made some noise together in the past on his shows.
I know that he told me, because I asked him. I said, "You want to come play tonight? Because I've got another music artist." He says, "Oh, I know Scott." I said, "Okay, well then just dial your happy little phone up and get over here with us."
There you go. Well, it's really an honor to be here, and congratulations on starting up your 3rd year. That's wonderful.
It's all y'all's fault. You realize that, Scott, because people just keep sending me people, and people just keep wanting to come be on the show, because once you've been on my show, it's not a one-time deal. You become part of the bigger picture. So you will be back, I'm saying.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then that's see, now you say that now, but after an hour with me, you may decide that you're taking me off the picture.
No, not after the music, because I'm sitting here listening to this beautiful, beautiful song, and it makes me think of my husband, who I absolutely loved with all of my heart, and I hope that I will always remember, even if I get old and get dementia, I hope that I will always remember the season we had. That song is so powerful. What in the world, where did it come from? What made you write it?
Oh, my goodness. It was surprising that you started with that song, Yvonne, because the last thing I'm known for by anybody is a romantic song. I don't write them very often. Where did that song come from? I'm not sure that I really know where that one came from. I think, you know, my dad had Alzheimer's, and maybe that's kind of what took me in that direction of, you know, what are the things that I hope I always remember. And so I think that was kind of the gist of that song.
Well, it is absolutely.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it touched you, because that's what music is supposed to do. But I mean, my wife is the first one to tell you that I just don't write romantic songs, hardly ever. You know, and I've been married for 27 years. I have 2 kids, but most of my songs are about heartache or you know, spending all my time in a honky tonk, and so a lot of times.
You know what country's about?
Well, yeah. So it's funny though. My wife's mom will call her every now and then and say, "Are you okay? I just heard some of Scott's songs, and I just want to make sure you guys are okay."
See, but that's what country music's all about. But this song has a deeper meaning than just a love song. It comes from, my take on it, Scott, is it comes from a place in your heart that when you do get older, because your father did have Alzheimer's, that when you do get older, that you do hope that you remember those special moments, not just the love moments, but those special moments in your life that meant so much.
Well,
For the people.
and I think we all hope that, and I don't know. I don't remember what I opened the refrigerator for 5 minutes ago, so I may be in trouble.
Nah, I think you're good. There's just so much going on in your head. Opening the refrigerator for something is not important.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Now, before we started the show,
Yes.
I asked you a question, and this is part of Scott's history, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sitting here with my mouth open because I can visualize what he's telling me. The question was, when did you get into music? And your answer just, I couldn't write it down fast enough, just blew me away. Here you are in grammar school during recess, putting on shows after you wrote the script for it.
Well, it was music. What I did is I went to my principal and told him I wanted to put on a show during recess, and you know, bless Mr. Moore's heart, he was like, whatever, kid, you do you. So I made up a band called the Bleach Boys, and then I got some of my friends to make bands, and we put our record player on, and you know, back then that's what we had, a record player, and we set up some folding chairs, and we got up and sang and acted like we were playing instruments to our songs that we loved on the record. You know, I think, you know, I had Beach Boy albums, I had Elvis, or the Beatles, Johnny Cash, and so we got up there, and just a whole bunch of us, and it was a train wreck, I'm sure. But you know, some of the kids, I don't know, maybe they were in detention or something, so they sat and listened, and I think a couple of them had a good time, maybe. But so yeah, I've always sung, I've always loved music, and when my uncles, I had two uncles that taught me how to play the guitar, and that was when I was 17, and from then on it's just something I've always done.
Chris, can you imagine what fun Scott was as a child?
Well, I can imagine. I mean, I had one instance to perform in middle school, and they kind of gave me and a buddy free rein to pick our own song, and we wanted to be different. So after 37 versions of Purple Rain, Thriller, and Beat It by Michael Jackson that everyone else performed, we got on stage and decided we're going to perform Mama We're All Crazy Now by Slade. And that lasted all of about a minute and a half before they pulled the plug and decided, yeah, that's not seventh grade appropriate.
Well, Scott, you just didn't do this in grade school. You took it with you on up into high school. You were in theater. You were in choir. What were you not in musically?
I always was involved in, and I don't know how much fun I was as a kid. I'll tell you this though, because this year I had a pretty special honor that my high school inducted me into their Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And yeah, so I went. That was in October. So I went to the ceremony, and the lady that introduced me, and I'm not. This is the honest to goodness truth, Yvonne. She said this is how she started her introduction. Scott Southworth is the first and only member of our high school alumni in all these years that this school's been here. He was the first person to ever get arrested on a choir trip. So I don't know if I was fun or if I just made a lot of bad decisions.
I think you were fun, Scott.
I don't know about that, but it was So apparently that's how I'm known at the high school, is that one guy that got arrested on a choir trip.
Yeah, but look where you are now.
Right, calling you from jail, and I'm really happy that they're.
No.
Shall we send bail money? Shall we send bail money?
Yeah, send money. Send money and pie, please.
Okay, not necessarily in that order. How in the world did you get? How did you get to become an endorsed Larrivee guitar artist? What was involved in that?
Well, first I had to take 3 years of French so I could pronounce Larrivee.
Larrivee. See, I can't even pronounce it.
Larrivee. Once you can say it, then they'll endorse you. No, I had mentioned earlier we had a radio show on for a few years, and we wanted a guitar sponsor. And so me and my co-host, we went out. We were both musicians, and we went out and played every kind of guitar we could find. And we narrowed it down to 3 companies that we really liked, and Larrivee was one of those. And you know how it is when you're starting a show. We didn't have any sponsors. We were desperate for sponsors, but we actually turned down a couple of guitar manufacturers because we didn't like their guitars, and there was no way I could take money from a company and get on the radio and say how much I love something if I didn't. So, so I finally, the more I played Larrivee's, I decided, man, I really want to work with them. So they came on board with me on the radio show, and then even after the show ended, we've just kept that relationship going. And I actually have a new guitar that's getting made right now, and I should have it here in about hopefully 3 or 4 weeks that I'm very excited about. But I just love their guitars, and they've, if you watch any of my music videos, if you hear me when I'm out playing, I'm always talking about them, and on the videos I make sure that you can see them, and I'm just real proud. They're an excellent instrument manufacturer, and they're good. They're a bunch of good people. It's a family-owned business, so I'm just proud to be a part of them, and I'm thrilled that they've continued to support me and be a part of my musical journey. And
Chris, you probably know this, but I don't know if our audience knows this. Ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful man with this beautiful voice has been nominated 3 times by the Academy of Western Artists. Don't you think it's time you won?
I would certainly, that would be fantastic if it happened. And it's funny, I used to always laugh when you'd hear these people say, "Oh, it's just an honor to be nominated." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a bunch of hooey. Come on." But honestly, when I look at these other people that are nominated with me, and one of the great things about what's happened for me as an independent artist is that kind of an entire new world has been opened up. And we were talking about this before the show started, of just how many amazing independent artists there are all over the world. And I've gotten to know them and become familiar with their music and become friends with many of them. And so just to be in their company really, really does mean everything to me. If I win, great. But, I get to go out and play around the world and play my music. And so I've already won. I mean, it's a dream come true for me.
Well, I'm waiting because, again, when we were discussing this, we were talking about how independent country music artists have exploded this year. Little did I know that when I was watching I'll Be Home for Christmas, which is produced by Blake Shelton, that a young lady that I interviewed on this show by the name of Cherish Lee did a song for that movie. So, ladies and gentlemen, independent artists are the thing.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, too, you take into account, for example, I think it was 3 years ago, when Chris Stapleton won, all of the people, half of the people knew who Chris was, because Chris had been around for a decade prior to this, performing amazing music, but most people had never been exposed to him. So the other half who didn't know what he was, that suddenly jumped on the bandwagon, and were like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And the other half of us that knew were like, our question was, what the hell took so long? Because
we already know it.
Yeah, like Chris had been an amazing songwriter and performer for a decade. It just took, and even Sturgill Simpson and some of these other guys, Parker Millsap, was a younger guy, but, he's been playing music since he was 13, and he's been an amazing artist since he was 13. But people are just now kind of discovering that, hey, this kid from Oklahoma can write a hell of a song, and he's got a great look, and, he's an amazing voice, and he's going to be somebody that you're going to see for a long time. So, Well,
I have to say that every artist that Michael Stover with MTS Management has sent me that I have interviewed, and every artist outside of Michael Stover that I have interviewed has wound up on the charts somewhere. So, Scott, I throw that gauntlet down to you. I expect to see you on the charts, my friend.
Well, and I thank you. I'm going to say that it's because you booked me several months ago. I've made the top 30 in Europe country charts again. With this new album. So I'm just going to assume that that's because you booked me several months ago. So thank you for that. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome. All I have to do is throw it out in the universe, and it happens. Chris will tell you. And with that, that's it. With that, we're going to play another one of Scott's songs. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all haven't gotten his music, I dare you to go get it. So sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hey, hillbilly singer, sing me a song about a cold-hearted woman done a good man wrong. Here's a 20 in the bucket, keep the sadness coming. I'll fill it up all night long. I need a beer-drinking girl, cheating, tear-weeping, broken-hearted country song. Most Friday nights I'd be that guy two-stepping across the floor. But since she said goodbye, don't feel like dancing anymore. Didn't see her leaving coming. Man, she took me by surprise. They say misery loves company. I need me some tonight. Hey, hillbilly singer, sing me a song about a cold-hearted woman done a good man wrong. Here's a 20 in the bucket, keep the sadness coming. I'll fill it up all night long. I need a beer-drinking girl, cheating, tear-weeping, broken-hearted country song. Yeah, I do. By now I drank my way out of this neon hell, but I'm stuck on a lonesome highway Hank Williams knew so well. I understand the band must play a line dance now and then, but when you played Hank's, your cheating heart felt like a long-lost friend. Hey, hillbilly singer, sing me a song about a cold-hearted woman done a good man wrong. Here's a 20 in the bucket, keep the sadness coming. I'll fill it up all night long. I need a beer-drinking girl, cheating, tear-weeping, broken-hearted country song.
the Chain. I'm your host, Yvonne Mason, with my co-host, the music guy, Chris Plain, with our guest tonight, country music artist, Scott Southworth, and that was his song, Hey Hillbilly. Now, Scott, that song just makes me want to get up and two-step.
Well, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm happy to hear that. And that's the title track of the album. And that's available everywhere on iTunes or Amazon, or you can go to CD Baby if you're like me and you still like physical copies of CDs.
Well, I like LPs. I wish that all of you artists would put out records again, because I love playing on turntables.
I would love to. It's awful expensive, but I would love to do that someday.
Well, what the kids don't realize is there's nothing like hearing that music on that wax. It just has a sound to it that you don't get on CDs. As much as I love CDs, you don't get on downloads as much as I love the convenience of downloads. It's that album that you just put the needle to and let that turntable run it.
Yeah.
Like you said,
something about that scratch, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So what made you write that song? That is an upbeat, dancing, happy song.
Even though it's a the guy's obviously sad, but that's I had someone challenge me several years ago, a song plugger, that said, give me the saddest song you can write, but let me dance to it. Make it something I can dance to. And so that's been something I like doing. I like to find those sad subjects and find a way to get people on the dance floor to it.
Well, he might be drowning in his beer, but he's going to dance his worries away.
There you go.
and truthfully, with that song, I think I might have mentioned this before. I might not have. I don't know. But tell me you can't hear either George Strait or Garth Brooks singing that song.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it just, every time I hear that song, that's my immediate thought, is that has Garth and George written all over it, man. It just, like
it's
other one of those guys could just.
It's something that they would sing.
Well, I'd love it if they did. I'd be thrilled if they did. So go ahead and call them for me. If you know Garth's number, you call him and play him that song.
Okay, I'll get my people to call his people, Scott.
Perfect.
What I would like to see is I would like for your tour manager to book you here in South Florida, because where I live in the next county to the west of me is cattle country. And when you have cattle country, you have cowboys. And when you have cowboys, you have country music.
That's all true. Well, let's talk about that. I'll have my people get a hold of your people, because I go to Florida quite a bit for work, and I was just there in Orlando and Tampa 2 weeks ago. And where are you exactly?
I am an hour and a half south of Orlando and 2.5 hours east of Tampa. I am in Port St. Lucie, which is between Daytona and West Palm Beach.
Yeah, I know Port St. Lucie. Yeah. Well, let's you tell me where to go. I'll go play there. I'd be thrilled to.
The Sunrise Theater in Fort Pierce, Florida. It's the next little city up. They're all the time looking for acts.
Theater.
I'm
going.
Judge
I'm going to call them up.
There you go.
What?
Do what, Chris?
I said you're in Judge Judy company. Or country.
Absolutely.
I may need it. You never know.
We have all kinds of, in Vero Beach, they have another theater. Because we are basically a subtropical state, most of the time it's beautiful year round. And there's all the time outdoor concerts. The fairgrounds, they're always looking for acts at the fairgrounds in St. Lucie County, which is out 60. They're all the time looking for artists to come to this state.
Well, cool. I'm gonna call this Sunrise Theater. You better be in the front row though.
Well, you tell me when you're coming, and I'll stand in line and buy a ticket.
It's a deal. Although you'll be on the guest list, Yvonne.
Well, I was going to say I'll even pay big bucks for it, and I don't pay big bucks for anything.
Well, you'll already be on the guest list, so don't worry about it.
Well, all right, my darling. I look forward to it. That would be so because my dream, and when I throw things out in the universe, my dreams become plans, and my plans have a way of coming to life. So my dream, which shall become a plan, which shall become a life form, is that you and these other artists that I have interviewed come to our city and play so you get the exposure in this state.
Wonderful. All right, well, I'm in.
Okay. Now, Chris, okay. You know you'll have to come down here so you can come to watch him too.
Yeah, yeah. I got to make sure I'm not still banned from Daytona Beach, but yeah.
But you won't be in Daytona, honey. You'll be in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Yeah.
But just remember, Chris, songs aren't for everybody.
Oh, I know.
That's true. But for everybody, there is a song.
No. I didn't say song. I said thong.
Oh, songs. Oh, okay. Well, see, and there's a song for that. It's called the song. And I'm sure Chris has played it. Yep, and I'm sure Chris has played it a time or two. When you toured, before I play this third song, when you toured Europe,
yes.
Where all did you tour, and how was the reception?
I have I've been there 4 times, probably 6 times in the last 4 years. Ireland, England, Switzerland, Germany, France, and Norway have been the stops so far.
Wow!
And it's been amazing. The response is incredible, Yvonne. There are pockets of Europe that just adore traditional country music. They want to hear that real honky tonk sound, the fiddle and the steel guitar, and they adore it. And so, you know, I'll go there and play for thousands, and there'll be you know, people that maybe don't speak English that are right up in front of the stage singing my songs to me. It's wonderful. They absolutely love it. I love going there. I should by the end of this year I'll be able to. I'm in talks with a few different places right now, so I'll be able to make my European plans for 2019 public here in another few weeks. But it's wonderful, and so for me at this stage in my life to be able to go travel around places that I couldn't imagine even going to has just been such a blessing and such an amazing adventure the last few years.
Well, all
and you know
of those
what's
countries. Funny? Go ahead.
Yes. No, you go.
I was going to tell you, all of those countries you just mentioned. This show is heard in every one of those countries.
Fantastic. Well, I'll be there. I'll be back soon then for everybody listening.
Absolutely, you'll be back soon. There is no doubt. And what were you going to say? I did not mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. I was going to say that this thing that happened with my high school this year, it made me think back to a publication that our school used to do every year for the seniors. They'd interview several seniors and ask them what they wanted to do with their lives and what their plans were.
What?
And your plans were what?
Well, I said my ideal life would be traveling around Europe with a guitar on my back.
And there you are.
and you know, 30 some years later, there I've been, and just having the time of my life. So it's fantastic.
I am so happy for you. I'm sitting here with the biggest smile on my face because you took a dream, you made it a plan, and made it real. And people sit back and at the end of their life go shoulda, woulda, coulda, and die with regret. And you're living the dream.
Well, I feel like it. I feel that way too. I don't know how much of initial plan there was. It's more like I stumbled into it, and I'm just so thrilled to find, you know, I think people, especially here in Nashville, maybe they get so focused on their one idea of what success is, when in fact there's so many different paths that if you, instead of trying to do what the big guys are looking for, do what you love. You know, I've been here for 14 years, but it wasn't until I just decided to record the music I love that all of a sudden it turned out there were people that loved that music too and wanted to hear it. So that was not a designed plan. It wasn't. It was more of a, you know what, I'm just going to go have fun, and look what's happened. It's been amazing.
And with that being said, let's play this last song. Ladies and gentlemen, This is Off the Chain. I'm your host, Yvonne Mason, with my co-host, the music guy, Christopher Plain, and our guest, who I am just in awe of, country music artist Scott Southworth, and we're going to play this last song. Maybe we're going to play this last song. The computer does not want to cooperate.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think my battery went dead, so we may, well, wait a minute. The battery and the mouse went dead, so we may not get to play this last song.
I'll just take it off myself.
You know, this is what happens with live radio.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gotta love it.
Welcome to Murphy's
What
Law.
song were you going to play?
Nobody Leaves This World Alive.
Oh, I do like that one. I wrote that with my friend Heidi.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Here we go. We're going to play it now.
Nobody leaves this world alive. Some bound to fall, some bound to fly. You got your number, I got mine. No point in a worry, you know, cry. Until my running days are through, I'm hoping to run around with you. I just want to live till I die. Nobody leaves this world alive. Well, I don't give two damns about what my congressman's got to say. We all know if his lips are moving, he's lying anyway. All them jokers on the TV keep trying to rile me into fighting on the left or the right. I think I'll tune out, unplug and roll me a fat one. I pick on my guitar tonight. Nobody leaves this world alive. Some bound to fall, some bound to fly. You got your number, I got mine. No point in worrying or crying till my running days are through. I'm hoping to run around with you. Just wanna live until I die. Nobody leaves this world alive. Common sense flew out the door. We're so pissed all the time, cocked for a fight. Ain't nobody listening anymore. But the truth is we're all stuck on this ball, on the same spinning trip around the sun. How about we all just try to calm down and get a good buzz on, and we'll find ourselves a little fun. Nobody leaves this world alive. Some bound to fall, some bound to fly. You got your number, I got mine. No point in worrying or crying till my running days are through. I'm hoping to run around with you. I just want to live until I die. Nobody leaves this world alive. Yeah, I'm gonna live until I die. Nobody leaves this world alive. Awesome. Woo.
And we're back. This is Off the Chain. I'm your host, Yvonne Mason, with my co-host, music guide Chris Plain, and country music artist Scott Southworth. And that was his song, Nobody Leaves This World Alive. And those of you who know me know that that is one of my favorite sayings. Scott, where in the world did you come up with that?
Well, that song started out as kind of just a goofy song, but as I kept singing that chorus and kept looking around at what was going on social media during the elections and everything, I decided, the one thing we can be sure of is we're all going to die, and I don't want to spend my time arguing over politics. I don't want to spend my time yelling at each other because I don't agree with them, and so the whole point of that song is just, we can all get along even if we voted for someone else. And,
Amen.
And that has kind of the curse of social media is it's given everybody the impression that their opinion is something that needs to be shared with everybody. And when I grew up, I was always told you don't discuss religion or politics, and that's how you get along with folks. And we've all forgotten that little rule.
And we've forgotten how to have discourse and discussion in a logical and methodical manner without beating each other up verbally. Chris, I got a question for you. Boy, that was bad English. I have a question for you. How did you come across Scott?
I came across Scott strictly on accident, more or less. I was actually looking up another artist for my radio show, and his video for I'm Not Leaving Town popped up. And I thought, you know what? That old boy that was in the video with him, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he kind of looked like... Who was that?
That was Bobby Marquez.
Okay. He kind of reminded me of the one boy, or the one guy from the Oak Ridge Boys. And that's who I thought it was, just from the picture. So I thought, you know what, this is something to do with the Oak Ridge Boys. Let me listen to it. And I loved it, and I contacted Scott, and said, hey, and we kind of been, internet friends, I guess, for a couple of years now. And when he put his first record out, the Last Honky Tonk in Town, it was my number 2 CD of the year for 2016.
Thank you.
And this year, I won't say where he's going to be, but I will definitely say he's going to be in the top 5 again. So, I love his music, and like I told Scott, there's a timelessness to what he's doing. Of people my age, and we won't say how old that is because we don't want to start having to. But anyway, people who grew up on, the Oak Ridge Boys and people like that, people that grew up with like David Allan Coe and Lefty Frizzell and the great artists from the late 70s and the early 80s. This is music that you can hear. Me personally, when I hear Scott's music, and Scott is an amazing singer and an amazing songwriter, but I can hear, there's one song on there that I can just hear Alan Jackson singing. There's Nobody Leaves This World Alive. I can completely picture Hank Jr. singing that song because it just lyrically, to me, is a song that screams something that Hank Jr. would write. So that's really what I love the most about Scott is it's very easy to visualize his music in the sense of stuff that I already know. And that makes it easier for me as a DJ to promote it to other people. Because I can say, hey, if you like Hank Jr., here's a song by Scott Southworth. If you like Alan Jackson, here's a song by Scott Southworth. If you like Black Hawk, here's a song by Scott Southworth. And then they can kind of say, okay, yeah, I do hear that. And, it makes it easier for people to relate it to something they may already love.
I thank you for that, Chris. And I really, really appreciate that. And one of the things when we were talking about Europe, a lot of the artists that release albums there, they're releasing cover songs from that era that you were just mentioning, Chris. And so I think that's one of the things that's made this so attractive over there is because it's that genre and that style, but it's all original. It's not rehashing stuff. It's that era or that genre of country music, but with lyrics that maybe have to do with now sometimes, So I'm glad you feel that way, and I'm glad people are listening because I'm having the time of my life, and I'm just going to keep on recording this stuff. Why not? I love it.
Well, I know I'm a fan.
I got piles of songs just waiting, so they're all coming.
Well, with that being said, go ahead, Chris.
No, I mean, we talked in our interview about how the first CD, Scott essentially said he had recorded 1 or 2 songs a year for, I think, like 10 years or something, and that it was essentially a big collection of songs that he had kind of recorded just for something to do. And it did way better than he expected it. And then he did the second one, and, I hope there's a third one. I really do, because the world really needs more music like this. And I'm happy to see people like Sturgill Simpson and Parker Millsap and Coulter Wall breaking through and just refusing to not be heard. The Sturgill Simpson thing with the Academy of Music Awards, where they refused to let him play on stage, so he essentially took his guitar and went and performed in the parking lot. Was such a Waylon Jennings thing.
I love it. So, Scott, we're getting to the end of our hour, and before we run out of time, will you please tell the folks who are listening and who will listen in the archive shows where you can be found so that we can spread your beautiful voice, your over-the-top guitar playing, and your wonderful music to the world.
Well, thank you very much. You can find me at Kennesaw Correctional Center in. No, that's not true. That's not true.
He's in the cell right next to David Allen Co.
My web address is scottsouthworth.com. If you want to find me on Facebook, just search Scott Southworth Music. That's how I heard from you, Yvonne, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And on Twitter and Instagram, I'm at Say Howdy Scott. And on farmersonly.com, I'm Chris Plain. And that's how you can find me there.
And he's a comedian too. This is reminiscent of Hee Haw back in the day. I love it.
I'm picking and grinning, but I have to say, Yvonne, full disclosure, that's not me playing guitar on that CD. That is the famous Brent Mason.
Wow.
When I have pickers like that in town, I leave my guitar in the case when we go record because it's the best of the best here.
It's amazing.
See, I didn't even know that, and I would have that would have blown me away because the resume on that guy is
unreal.
He's the most recorded guitar player ever, according to Guinness World Book of Records.
Oh
I say the only name you really need to say related to him really is Randy Travis. I mean, he's done everything Randy's ever done. So,
or Alan Jackson.
Yeah, Alan too. So, yeah.
So, with that being said, before we run out of town completely, Scott, will you come back so we can talk and play some more of your music?
I'd be happy to, and thank you so much for introducing me to your audience and inviting me into to Off the Chain to visit. I really enjoyed this. This was the fastest hour I've had since last hour.
And Chris, will you come back and co-host?
I'm always around. You know where to find me.
Okay. So, Scott, don't hang up when the show goes dark because I got some things I want to tell you. But I do want to thank Scott for being here and Chris Plain, my co-host, for being here with me because it's always more fun when there's a group of us talking and picking and grinning and playing. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year. So when you're out and about, please be kind to the people in retail. Be kind anyway, but especially be kind this time of year because they have it rough. And it's going to get rougher over the next 14 days. So please, when you go into a store, into a grocery store, into a record shop, wherever you are, into a restaurant, be nice to these people. If you don't, I'll send my monkeys after you. There's a couple of things that I say at the end of every show, and one is we're all on a journey. And sometimes that journey is very difficult. So when you are out and about, find something nice to say to a stranger. Do not ask permission to achieve greatness because you're already great. You just go out and do it. Teach this to your children. They are already great. And it doesn't matter if they have special needs or not. They're already great. Teach them to achieve their greatness. With that being said, again, we will be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time for another great fast hour. And I want to thank Scott and Chris for being here. This show we never know what's going to happen because it's a live show. So we just run with things. We don't get upset about anything. So until tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, I want to wish you all a good evening. I want to wish you safety on the roads and airplanes, however you're traveling, because it's going to get busy, ladies and gentlemen, as people start traveling. So please be careful. Be kind to each other. Be
Amen.
kind to yourself. And we will see you again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Once again, for Off the Chain, I am your host, Yvonne Mason, and we wish you a good evening. All right, Scott, we're off the air, but when people listen to the archive part of this show, they will hear this conversation. But what I wanted to tell you, what I wanted to tell you is when we get off, when I close the show out and it does archive, I'm going to post the link on my page. I will tag you and Chris in it. And Scott, this is my gift to you to take this show and put it out there on any venue that you want to put it. Tomorrow, it will show up on iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, FM.com, TuneIn Radio, Reverb Nation, 2 podcasts on iHeartRadio, and where else does it? It shows up one more place, but I can't remember. It just lost me. Now, with your permission, yeah, that's how we get 200 countries and 200,000. But what I would like to do, with your permission, is take one of the songs that we played tonight, put it on my Reverb Nation site as a stream only, put your link, so if they want to buy that music, they have to go to your link, be it CD Baby, iTunes, wherever you want it to go, so that you can get paid for them to buy that song. But if they can hear it streaming after they've listened to the archive show, that will be more money for you.
Oh, beautiful. Of course you have my permission. I'm honored that you would do that. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome, and I cannot wait to bring you back on the show. It will be so much fun because we only played 3 of the songs. You sent me a whole plethora of songs, and I had to just close my eyes and pick one.
I'm going to. I'm sending you an email right now with a YouTube link to a Christmas song that I wrote. That it's a live performance of it, but I want you to I want you to hear this. It's from me to you because of the year you had. This is a song that I think may reach you.
Thank you, my friend. How kind. I appreciate that so much. Chris is dealing with his children. Do you have any closing thoughts, my friend?
Not much. Like I said, I love Scott's music. It's always a blast to talk to Scott. Scott's, like I told you earlier today, Scott's one of the funnest people that I've ever had the pleasure of interviewing. And, Scott, seriously, music like yours makes my job so easy. I mean, obviously you've done it, so you know that. When you can find.
Thank you very much.
You get 500 CDs a year. When you can pick out that, 10 or 15 artists, especially ones that are maybe underground or just rising up, or maybe they're not signed to a label or something. When you can find somebody like that, really that you love, it makes it really all worth it, and the work and the hours that go into it, because, I don't have anybody when I do this, and I know Yvonne does it. This is all a labor of love, man. We find the music, and we set up the interviews, and we do the interviews, and we archive it, and we, year-end lists, and, it's just like a really time-consuming, expensive hobby, and, having people like you really make it.
It's an honor. It is an honor that you will come on this show.
The honor was all mine. I wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. And would you do me a favor, Scott? Yes.
Would you thank your wife for me for allowing us to have you for an hour?
Oh, if I told her that, she'd say she can have you for another 6 hours.
Well, thank her anyway.
I will. All right, you guys have a great night.
You too, my dear.
Right.
Talk, and I will get you set up for after the first of the year. We'll work around your schedule.
And you
Awesome.
just got my email. I just sent it to you.
All right, my darling. I'll look at it shortly.
All right, you
bye-bye,
guys both
Chris.
have Merry
Bye, Yvonne.
Christmases.
Good night.
All right,
Night, Chris.
Night, Yvonne. Bye.
I don't mean to be so uptight, but my heart's been hurt a couple times by a couple guys that didn't treat me right. I ain't gonna lie, ain't gonna lie.
Alexa, play Meant to Be.
Okay.
If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get access to over 50 million songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Ho, 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 ho. What can I get you?
Hey, Santa! A pony and an iPhone for my mom. She really wants one.
That's a lot.
Look, at Metro, they'll give you an iPhone 6S just for switching.
Jolly jingle bells. I should switch to Metro.
It's smart. You should.
Get this unbelievable deal under your tree. Switch and get an iPhone 6S on us. Hurry, because deals this good don't last long. Metro by T-Mobile. Plus sales tax and activation fee. Not valid for current T-Mobile network numbers or numbers active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.